Jim touched on it, David Black from the Canadian Office and Professional Employees Union. The Premier is announcing a job strategy this week. And for our members, that's very, very hard to take. I have a bunch of people in the room here today who have been working their entire careers in many cases to keep the lights on for British Columbians. They've been doing a good job. They've been working at BC Hydro and supporting BC Hydro. And earlier this year and into next year, they're getting their notice that they're no longer needed. It's not so much that they don't have skills that are still necessary. They all have opportunities to find jobs in the industry, just not in British Columbia. So I would encourage you to talk to these people about the services that they provide British Columbians now, currently, what these announcements of job cuts at BC Hydro and Accenture Business Services mean to their families and mean to services to British Columbians, and the uncertainty that that's created, and how it's very hard for them to hear her talking about defending jobs when it's been her own government that has talked about eliminating these jobs. So thank you.
I want to thank all of you for coming today to hear the response from working people about the strategy we heard today and this week unveiled by the Premier of British Columbia. With me today is David Black from the Canadian Office of Professional Employees Union 378, representing hydro workers in British Columbia and ICBC workers. Also with me is Lee Loftus, representing construction workers from all the unions in the construction industry in British Columbia, the BC and Yukon Building Trades. Also, Irene Lesinger, who is the Secretary-Treasurer of the BC Federation of Labour. And there were a number of other union leaders at the speech today: Brian Cochran from the Operating Engineers, Hyman Seydoux from the International Longshore, Phil Benoit from IBW. Obviously, we're there because we have an interest in what she's going to say. To start with, I want to talk a bit about this. We're also joined today by four other people. Four people who work for the Premier. Two of them, Jared and Thomas, are meter readers at BC Hydro. Sinan works for Accenture, which does all the billing for BC Hydro. And Kelvin works for BC Hydro. Of those four people, three people are facing layoffs. One has already received their layoff slip from the Premier. I thought it was interesting when we were discussing that the Premier was here today to defend and to create jobs. Well, if she's defending jobs, she's doing a pretty lousy job, because BC Hydro is laying off 1,000 people after making record profits. I thought it was also interesting that the biggest announcement